Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome. I think we were doing in the chapter 18, 47. It's better to engage in one's own occupation even though one may perform it imperfectly than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. It's very interesting that Krishna described all the different types of qualities of a person afflicted, and then he goes to categorize them as Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, Brahmanas, and he also speaks about the characteristics of them. What are their qualities? Samo damas tapas saucham kshanti rajyavam evacha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma svabhavajam. How do you know that somebody is a Brahmana? He espouses those qualities. You will see that his nature is like that. He is filled with equanimity. He's got self-control, clean. He is religious, and he's straightforward and simple. Jnana, Vijnana, both realized and otherwise knowledge. Astikyam is very God-fearing and God-believing. These are all the qualities of a person who is a Brahmana. A Brahmana will be recognized by these qualities. It is not caste system. He is automatically having these qualities. He will espouse these. You will see him in his behavior like this. He is filled with knowledge. He shares knowledge freely, not asking for any money for knowledge. That's a Vaishya. A Vaishya, he also will be controlled. He is Krishi Gorakshaka Vanijyam Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam. He deals with cow, with the land in agriculture. With that, whatever comes, he does business. And it is his duty to provide for the Brahmanas' maintenance, to pay the taxes to the Kshatriya, to hire and work up the Shudras. He's also got certain responsibilities, certain qualities. These are the ways you make out people. And then Krishna goes ahead to caution us in this 47 Shlika. It is better to engage in one's own occupation than in another's, because it will create disturbance in your mind, in your lifestyle, in your existence. You should work according to your proclivity, according to the modes that are affecting you, and you will feel safe, satisfied, and happy. This is one of the major reasons why many people are under stress. Our economy is so based that everybody has to be a Shudra. You have to take a job. You have to work and earn money. Physically, mentally, intellectually, you're employed. And you work for somebody else. And you get a money irrespective of who you are. There are few powerful people who have all the money and employ everybody else. Actually, Vaishyas employ the Shudras. The Kshatriyas don't employ anybody as such. They have an army, they have administration, they have a government, those type of things. But it's the Vaishyas who normally employ. And you will see there are a few powerful Vaishyas and who also collaborate with so-called Kshatriyas, leaders, politicians. And there is a nexus between the leaders and politicians and the rich men. They all get together and exploit the Shudras, exploit those who are, and so many Brahmins and everybody become Shudras. They take a job and earn money. It's all completely mixed. Who is what? Sometimes Brahmins take the job of a businessman and they become very good at it. But who will do a Brahmana's job? Nobody is doing it. Nobody is teaching the Shastra. Nobody is teaching about God. Nobody is teaching you how to worship the Supreme Lord. Yajana, Yajana, Patana, Patana, Dana, Parigraha. These are the activities that he does. None of them is very popular at all. So this way, it's all mixed together. So Krishna is advising, if you keep on your track according to the modes of material nature affecting you, if you engage yourself like that, then everybody will be happy, society will be happy, and the system will function. Right? Paradharma svabhavaha. Don't have to take another person's. Even the Brahmana can do the job of Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra very well. He'll not do it. He should not do it. You see, this is how the employment structure is. Because you are employing yourself in a service of the Lord gradually. And the goal of this type of work and employment is to purify yourself. So it is designed. So Krishna is saying you don't do another guy's job. Like you should not criticize the Kshatriya because he kills. He kills for protection. That is his job. It's not that he is bad. War, no war should be there and all that. No, we need war. Because there are guys who actually do crazy things and attack, and we need to be protected. So we need war. Once in a while, when somebody attacks us, we need to protect and defend ourselves. That's called a dharmic war. For that, we need these type of people, Kshatriyas. So it's not that Kshatriyas are bad. It's not that we should not have war, but we should do it at the right time with the right people. So in this way, you have to properly understand the science of divisions of society. And then Krishna goes again in 48 shloka to say, Sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham api natyajet sarva ramba hitoshena dhume nagni iva vrataha. Very wonderful shloka here. Anuttama Gopal, would you like to read that shloka from text 48 of chapter 80? Excuse me. Anuttama Gopal disappeared. Are you there? Oh, he's still connecting. Okay, Satyendra Hirde Deshai, please go ahead and read text 48.
Yes, Maharaj. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault.
So, don't do somebody else's occupation, because your occupation is a little challenging and you've got some problems with it. Right? He's saying that pursue that only. Everything in this world has got some fault. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadosham. Dosha means fault. Sahajam means quite common to find faults in everybody and the way they execute things, especially in Kali Yuga. Kaler dosha nidhe rajan. Kali is an ocean of faults. You can always find out somebody who's trying to be a Brahmin according to his nature. Somebody is trying to be a Vaishya according to his nature. And you can say, oh, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, that's not right, it's not right. So actually, you should not stop being a Brahmana and all, forget it. No, not true. You should do to the best extent. Don't sadosham api natyajet. Because of dosha, don't give it up. Tyaja means to give it up. Sarvaramba hi doshena dhumena agni ivavrata. Dhumena means smoke. Agni means fire. Ivavrata means to be covered. Just like smoke covers the fire, some type of faults covers every endeavor in this world because that is the design. That doesn't mean you should give it up. So look at the first paragraph that we will read. I'll ask Priya to read.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
In conditioned life, all work is contaminated by the material modes of nature. Even if one is a Brahman, he has to perform.
Brahmana.
Okay, okay. Even if one is a Brahmana, he has to perform sacrifices in which animal killing is necessary. Similarly, a Kshatriya, however pious he may be, has to fight enemies. He cannot avoid it. Similarly, a merchant, however pious he may be, must sometimes hide his profit to stay in business, or he may sometimes have to do business on the black market. These things are necessary. One cannot avoid them. Similarly, even though a man is a Shudra serving a bad master, he has to carry out the order of the master, even though it should not be done. Despite these flaws, one should continue to carry out his prescribed duties, for they are born out of his own nature.
Thank you. Thank you. So you saw that? Prabhupada very brilliantly explaining. You may think that a Brahmana sacrificing animals is wrong, but it says that in the Vedas. He should do it for the welfare of people like this, like this, like this. You cannot argue that it's wrong. Kshatriya killing enemies is not wrong. Because if Kshatriya is not there, we'll all get attacked and we will all die. So his protection is needed for protecting. He needs to do that. So it's not wrong. So these are not faults. We just have to understand them properly according to the system designed by Krishna for smooth function of human society. So these are duties of people. And you will see that many times in our life, we are accosted by these contradictions and we have to perform these duties. Even in your own life, you will see as a parent, sometimes you have to wear two hats. You have to become a disciplinarian. At the same time, you have to show great love and care also. It becomes difficult to do that. You know, and then you ask somebody else to do it. If I teach my kid, he won't learn because I'm too familiar with him. Better I employ a tuition teacher. Let her do it. And I'll work with her to make sure that my son learns. In this way, you will have to adjust things up. But these contradictions are there in society. Okay. So these are two important instructions Krishna is saying. Do not do another's occupation. Do not give your own occupation up due to some fault you think you see. Right? So next to 49. Asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vikata spriha naishkarmya siddhim paramam sanyasena digacchati. One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain by practice of renunciation the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. So if we continue to do your, what shall I say, your duty according to the modes of material nature, according to your occupational duty, you will see that even though it is up and down here and there, in the end, you will become perfectly situated. This is a guarantee given by Krishna here. Right? In text 50, he is saying, Siddhim prapto yata brahma tatapnoti nibodhame samase naiva kaunteya nishta jnanasya vayapara. Please read Priya 1. Can you read the translation?
Yes, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Okay, thank you. So this is the purpose, that if you do your duties occupationally properly, you can situate yourself in the perfect stage of Brahman. Brahman means becoming free from everything material and becoming free to act as a spirit soul. This is a methodology because we are all very conditioned, very attached to matter. And for many, many, many lifetimes we have been stuck up. Krishna has made a system, Varnashrama, where according to Varna and Ashrama, if you conduct yourself according to those duties in that system, you will become gradually purified. Like we read earlier, Sve Sve Karmanya Viratah Sam Siddhim Labate Naraha. Siddhi means perfection. Some Siddhi means all perfection you will get. Because these are laws of God, of human society. And if you follow those laws and keep up the system that Krishna has made, you think you will become successful and human society will become successful. Just like if you follow the rules of the traffic on the roads, all cars will peacefully reach their destination. Everybody stops at the red check lights. Everybody moves at a certain speed where there are limitations. If there is one-way traffic, everybody follows it. Then you will see the traffic moves. Everybody reaches their destination peacefully. But if people cut corners, they don't obey the traffic police lights, they don't obey the policeman, there's a big complete mess of people horning and hanking and getting hot and shouting at each other, quarreling with each other. It'll be a mess. And nobody becomes happy. And the whole society becomes crazy because you did not follow the system. So here Krishna is guaranteeing if you follow the system, you will reach a perfectional stage of Brahman. Now, after you reach the perfectional stage of Brahman, what? That is described in 51 to 53. Buddhaya Vishuddhaya Yukto Dhrityatmanam Niyamyacha Shabdadin Vishayam Stektva Ragadvesho Vyudasyacha Vivikta Sevi Lagvashi Yatava Kayamanasaha Dhyana Yoga Paro Nityam Vairagyam Samupashitaha Ahankaram Balam Darpam Kamam Krodam Parigraham Vimuchya Nirmamah Shanto Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Okay, please read. Who wants to read? Anybody?
Shall I read, Maharaj?
Yes, please read the translation.
Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being free from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship, and peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization.
Wow, thank you. Wow, I'm sure you're going to think, wow, that is not me. That is not me. I'm far away from that. No, we're far away from that because we are not following the process of purification. Nobody told us that. Of course, this is a set system, Varnashrama. And in Kali Yuga now, all of us who are situated here may find it, how is it possible to be such a person? So perfect. But this is the stage of perfection you can come to if you follow the scientifically designed Varnashrama system. But in Kali Yuga, maybe at this point of time, you may find it difficult. So an equivalent of that is what has been prescribed by the great teachers and acharyas, like Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. He went all over the world and instituted a whole Krishna conscious system, which will give you the same result as the Varnashrama. It's not that it is against Varnashrama. It's simplified Varnashrama for the sake of Kali Yuga. He prescribed that you will get the same result by chanting of the holy names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, by reading Bhagavad Gita and thinking about this wonderful wisdom given by Krishna and understanding it and trying to place yourself nicely in life according to this. In this way, you will see that gradually your life is improving. You're realizing who you are. You're in a better situation to control your material life. Your lifestyle changes. Many things happen to you. And you can see it happen. You can feel the experience. Just like I told you earlier, when you eat, if you're hungry, tushti pushti kshud apaya hai. You get, tushti means satisfaction. Hunger is appeased, right? You feel satisfied. Ah, good meal I had. Pushti, you become nourished, you start getting strength, right? Kshud apaya hai, your hunger also goes. In this way, you can see and experience it when you eat. Same way, when you practice Krishna consciousness, you will see all these things gradually happening to you. So you don't need any extra proof. The experience itself is a proof of it. Just like eating, when you're hungry, produces tushti pushti, and you experience it. That itself is proof of it. So don't think that this is not possible. It is possible, right? It is possible to come to the stage of Brahman. Then what are the symptoms? Okay, what happens if I'm in Brahman? That is interesting. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samah sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. Very wonderful. Bit by bit, step by step, Krishna is answering. So what happens? What is the quality, lakshana, of that person who is in Brahmabhuta? Mainly situated in Brahman means what? I'll ask Krishna's Dr. Gandhi, who just arrived, to read that. Shloka 54, translation, 18th chapter.
Pranams Maharaj. I'm just stammering, Maharaj.
Yeah, no problem. Text 54 of 18th chapter.
One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Thank you. So hear very carefully. This is not the end of it. Brahman is not the end of it. But by following this system of Varnashrama and engaging yourself in occupation according to the modes affecting you, according to the instructions and laws given for mankind, that means you're following Krishna's instructions, you'll come to a stage of perfection. Okay? That stage of perfection is called Brahman. And in the Brahman stage, we read what are the characteristics. And what is the Lakshana also, we're getting here further. Translation is saying that person who is situated and realize the Supreme Brahman is fully joyful. Brahmabhuta prasanna atma. Prasanna means very happy, joyful. Then other thing, na shochati, na kankshati. He is not lamenting, nor is he in desirous or is in desire of anything. Na sochati, na kankshati. Anchoring or lamenting. Both these things are not there, is very joyful. These are three things. Then, samasarveshu bhuteshu is equal to all living beings. Not only human beings, he thinks equal. All living beings, whether it is an ant or a grasshopper, or it is a whale, it is a donkey, monkey, cat, human being, everybody, he looks at them equally. Why? Because he sees everybody as spirit soul. That we saw in the 5th chapter. How that person, Pandita Samadarshina, you remember, we read that. A learned person sees Samadarshi. He sees everybody equally. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Shwapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. This we heard then only. One who is in knowledge, who is a Pandit, he knows everybody is spirit soul. Whether it is a Chandala, a dog eater, an elephant, a saint, whomever he sees, all of them are spirit souls. So he samasarveshu bhuteshu, can see everybody equally. In such a state when you have arrived, you are now fit to attain bhakti for me. Mad bhakti labate para. Now you become purified. You have become situated in Brahman. Now you can achieve devotion very easily. So the Brahman platform is a springboard, a spiritual springboard from where bhakti can be attained. All right? This is the description given here. Very important for us to understand this properly. So I will ask each one of you to read this purport loudly, and we will discuss it a little bit before we finish. Right? We'll spend a few minutes just reading the purport. Who likes to read the purport? Bhavani Latha or Arunab Banerjee or Shanmuga Priya. I'm just calling on those people whom I cannot see.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Can I read?
Who is that?
Shanmugapriya.
Yeah, Shanmuga Priya, please go ahead. Read the
To
first
the
paragraph.
impersonalist, achieving the Brahmabhuta stage, becoming one with the absolute is the last word. But for the personalist or pure devotee, one has to go still further to become engaged in pure devotional service. This means that one who is engaged in pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord is already in the state of liberation called Brahmabhuta, oneness with the absolute. Without being one with the Supreme, the absolute, one cannot render service unto him. In the absolute conception, there is no difference between the served and the servitor. Yet the distinction is there in the higher spiritual sense. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, thank you. This, I think, is very important because this is where many people confuse the whole thing. The Brahman stage is a stage of complete purification and being situated without any influence of matter. And Bhakti stage is much higher. So somebody who's already doing Bhakti is situated in Brahman already. He may be doing sadhana, but he's already safely situated. He may make a few mistakes here and there, but he's already doing what a Brahman realized person is trying to do after achieving Brahman. That is Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. In other words, you see, it is not enough just to be situated in Brahman. You should be situated in Bhakti. That is the culmination and the completeness of the soul's occupation. The soul is eternally a servant of the Supreme Absolute, Krishna. So the Brahman stage is an intermediate stage. You cleansed yourself. Because if you want to approach the Supreme Pure, Shuddham Apapa Viddham, the Absolute is pure and the purest of the pure. If you want to go near the purest of the pure, you should also be to quite some extent pure. So that cleansing initially is what is called sadhana. And you come to the point of Brahman. Now you are fit to go and engage with the purest of the pure, absolute truth, Krishna. That's the meaning of this. Both Parabrahman, if you want to approach, you must be at least in Brahman platform. Parabrahman is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Must at least be in Brahman platform. You see, the Prime Minister of India came here many years back, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, to Coimbatore to inaugurate our temple in 2001. At that time, for 3 months before he came, they put security in our place. And every week the security changed. And it became intense and intense and intense towards just a few days before. They thoroughly combed the place. They asked us to clean this, clean that. They checked, they bought machines, they saw for landmines. They saw anything is there. and they went through the whole place, right from the temple's gopuram, and they wanted to see what is inside the altar, what is underneath the deity. Of course, we didn't allow them inside. They saw from outside. And they wanted to check up every place, checked every room, and they asked us to clean up certain things. Don't keep this here, don't keep this here. And then they asked us to clean the surrounding 200 meters across with a bulldozer and with a JCB, clear the whole atmosphere. They kept doing that for 3 months. Then finally the Prime Minister came. And they told me, I was talking to the special police group, SPG, the final guys who came, super duper, highly trained from Israel or something for security, armed fully and all that. I was asking them, why did you guys take so much time? He explained the whole thing to me. And he said, you know who's coming? The Prime Minister of the country. And we are the largest democracy in the world. One of the largest democracies in the world. It's a very powerful leader coming to your place. You've invited him. And we have to make sure that everything is fit for him. If anything happens, we are in trouble. Right? So we want to make sure this place becomes a fit place for him to step inside. I was wondering, one individual? No, he's not an individual. He's the leader of the country. And he was talking. So you can imagine, just for the Prime Minister to come, what all they do. And if we want to go and meet the Supreme Lord, should we not also be clean? Simple logic. We should be clean to that extent. Because the Lord is supremely pure, the purest of the pure. So you should be at least in Brahman platform. Means in the platform of spirit. Nothing material affecting you. In order to see the supreme Parabrahman. That's all is mentioned here. Okay. So next, Arunab Chatterjee, read the next paragraph, which is pretty long. You can stop somewhere in the middle.
Yes, Maharaj. In the material concept of life, when one works for sense gratification, there is misery. But in absolute world, when one is engaged in pure devotional service, there is no misery. The devotee in Krishna consciousness has nothing for which to lamentate or desire. Since God is full, a living entity who is engaged in God's service in Krishna consciousness became also full in himself. He is just like a river cleansed of all dirty waters, because a pure devotee has no thought other than Krishna. He is naturally always joyful. He does not lament for any material loss or aspire for gain, because he is full in the service of the Lord. He has no desire for material enjoyment, because he knows that every living entity is a fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and therefore eternally a servant. He does not see in the material world someone as higher and someone as lower. Higher and lower positions are ephemeral, ephemeral, and a devotee has nothing to do with ephemeral appearance or disappearances. For him, stone and gold are equally valued. This is the Brahma Bhuta stage, and this stage is attained very easily by the pure devotee. In that stage of existence, the idea of becoming one with the Supreme Brahman and annihilating one's individuality become hellish. The idea of attaining the heavenly kingdom became
Phantasmagoria.
And the sense are like serpents whose poison teeth are broken. As there is no fear of a serpent with broken teeth, there is no fear from the senses when they are automatically controlled. The world is miserable for the materially infected person, but for a devotee, the entire world is as good as Vaikuntha or the spiritual sky. The highest personality is this material universe is no more significant than an ant for a devotee. Such a stage can be achieved by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, who preached pure devotional service in this age.
Oh, thank you very much, Aruna Banerjee. So you see, this is all self-explanatory, but I want you to understand how in such detail Krishna is giving the navigational path towards him. And all these may sound sometimes a little too technical, and we may not have the patience to go through it. But definitely, when you become interested in your spiritual path, in your progress, you will see these landmarks in your spiritual life. Prabhupada is speaking about disinterest in things materially. It's not that because we have become old and our senses are weak, therefore anyway we cannot enjoy, and therefore I'm disinterested. It's not like that. It is that by realization of the truth of spirit, you become disinterested in matter. That's the real reason. So this process works, Krishna consciousness process. And it works and makes you spiritually active. When you become spiritually active and become situated in spirit, you will lose interest in anything material. Because you know everything material is temporary, it is illusory, and it is not of the nature of yourself, which is spirit. Right? In this way, you'll, out of knowledge and out of experience and practice, you'll become fixed in Brahman. So it happens. And there are people who have virakti, are not interested. Vairagya, no have any inclination, because of being constantly in touch with the absolute. Prabhupada explained that if you keep an iron rod in the fire, you go to a forging shop, you go to a foundry, here in Tamil Nadu, you have many foundries in Coimbatore. You can actually see that, or if you have done engineering and you have done, workshops in your first year and your second year, you know that they'll put you through this whole stuff. And you can actually see from the fire red hot. The rod becomes red hot as good as the fire.
Yes,
Constant contact. So you will see that you get the rod gets the same nature as the fire. Similarly, in sadhana, by constantly keeping in touch with chanting the holy name, by constantly keeping in touch with Krishna consciousness, by worshipping, by associating, by reading, by thinking, by feeling, by willing, by performing with your mind, body, words, and wealth, you will see you'll also gradually transform into spirit fully, just like the rod in touch with the fire. Because the absolute is very powerful. It's like fire. If you keep in touch constantly, all these material things will burn off and you'll become fully spiritualized. When you become fully spiritualized, your stage is called Brahman. Right? After that, it is very easy for you to relate with Krishna because you're pure. But till then, you'll find it difficult to do your devotional service because of the interference of matter and material attachment and your involvement in matter. It will be a little, but you should continue to do. Gradually, you become full fire. That's the meaning of this. Then Krishna goes on to say something very amazing about Bhakti, which we shall read in the next session. Om Tat Sat. So you had a very good exposure to what is Brahman, what is the Brahman platform, and how you come to that through following the Varnashrama system. And how you can go to Bhakti from there. That's like the springboard and platform. But that is not the be-all and end-all of everything. From there, something very exciting starts. Self-realization may be over, but God realization starts from there. Okay? Think about it. Om Tat Sat. Any other question or comment?
Maharaj, question on 48.
Yeah,
This is a little confusing or conflicting to me.
yeah.
Where it says one should not give up the work born of his nature, even if it is full of fault.
Yeah.
So full of fault doesn't mean even if it is wrong, he should still not give up the work.
What do you mean by fault and wrong? Because you're making the distinction. You see, Prabhupada explains faulty, isn't it? He says that a Brahmana never kills animals, he never harmful, he's very peaceful. You saw the qualities of a Samo, Damas, Tapas, Saucham, Shantir. He's a peaceful person. Arjavame Vacha. So, but he has to kill an animal by putting it in the fire. Okay? He should not think, I will not kill. So, I will not do the sacrifice. People will suffer if he doesn't do it. He should not think it is wrong or it is a fault. It is part of his portfolio as a Brahmana to do it, because he is not incurring any sinful reaction from that. To think that I'll not do it because it is a sin is wrong. But to think that it may be killing an animal, but that helps in performing this yajna and helps in society being cleansed of certain things. And it is not sinful because I'm doing as per the Vedic custom. I'm chanting those mantras and doing the needful. I am just a performer and I need to do it because the person who's taking the sacrifice is the yajaman. Right? I do my duty. That's all. So it's not wrong. That is the way to see whether, that's why you have guru, you have, family priest, you have others who will tell you whether it is right or wrong. Okay, I did the sacrifice. My gosh, it is pretty good. Killing that animal, and I feel something great about it. Can I repeat it? Can I make a business out of it? Okay, I'm ready to do a sacrifice for anybody if you pay me so much. I can kill animals, no problem. That's what happened when Buddha appeared. Nindasi yajna vider ahaha shruti jatam sadaya hirdaya darshita pashughatam keshavadrita buddha sharira jaya jagadisha hare. What the Brahmins started doing, they became corrupt. They started left, right, center killing animals. Because the people thought that, oh, if I can eat an animal out of the sacrifice, it is allowed in the Vedic custom. So in order to eat the animal, let me do the sacrifice. But that's not the purpose of the sacrifice. You can't start a butcher shop and start a big non-vegetarian restaurant based on the fact that it's said in the Vedas that if you offer in the sacrifice, you can eat. No, but that's not the purpose of the sacrifice. In the sacrifice, there is one item of offering the animal, and that is given as prasadam to certain types of people only. The Brahmanas who do the sacrifice don't eat it. They give it to the Shudras who eat meat. That is there is a restraint, but interpret it as it is yajna sishta, prasadam coming from the yajna. And so it is not sinful. Let us eat it. It's meat. And let's do another sacrifice and another so that we can continue to eat meat. All these are wrong derivations from the sacrifice. These things are wrong. But for the Brahmana to do that sacrifice dutifully, it's not wrong. Now you understand the difference between wrong and right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah. So similarly, in your profession, Prabhupada says sometimes as a businessman, you may have to do things to stay in business. You may have to hide your profit. Many people do it. If you be a very truthful guy, all your money will be taken away. Right? To survive, you need to look after your children, your family, your business. So every businessman definitely does it. Definitely does it. That is why when we go for donation, they happily give us. Why? They're guilty. They're guilty. Arey, yeah, I made money like this. I better give something. I know that psychology in them, but they're nice people. They like to give and they make the money also. They make a lot of money and they like to give to different religious causes. And we go and tell them we are doing Annadhanam here. Like, oh, I'll be very happy to donate for it. We're doing a temple project. I'm very happy to donate for it. Not only is it devotional service from my side, but I have money. And I've done all sorts of things in the business to get this money. So let me use it for a good cause. Like that. So what is right and what is wrong, according to the time, situation, and circumstance, can be best told to you by an experienced person. That person is called a guru. And he will not be the person who tells you, please give me a lot of money. He will tell you accordingly how to give the money and which type of thing you could do and what is your capacity to do without any self-interest. So all these things are part of the whole plan. Okay, I hope that helps you.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Any other question or comment? All right. Good night. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.